Hey guys, how you doing? Alright, we're gonna look at some puzzles just real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, let's do a game. Alright, let's do it to it. Okay. Alrighty. Let's do a 15-minute one. So that, because Simon Williams says it's good to actually do the 15-minute ones. Alright. Somebody aborted the game. What's my opinion on the Curacan? Not sure. We're working on the French right now. Nice. me see here. Okay. Gotta think about this. I want to, yeah, I'm gonna go for the attack. Let's take more space. Pow. This outpost. Let's see here. I like that move there. Pow. Ah. I blundered there. Drat. Let me see, what could I have done better? Okay, I should have moved my bishop here at this point. Well, I need to work on this. Same problem would have arisen though. So at this point, oh, I should have pushed up. Okay, lock it down. And then double up. Gotcha, okay. Okay, let's see here. Oh, that would have won the queen. Okay, so I made a mistake there too. So that would have won the queen. So two mistakes there that we can learn from. Right. Well, we're working on the French, so we're trying to get better at the French, and I know that's the majority of the players that are coming up like the French, and it's pretty fun to learn. So it's a fun opening for black. So we're working on the French. Let's see if anybody wants to play a 15-minute one, huh? Should have taken my time, so glad we're doing the longer ones. That'll help me with time, patience. There we go. Now we're doing the French. So we did the exchange type of French. Oops. Just take to make an isolated pawn for black, or white I mean. Then now you castle, and you should be in pretty good shape with bishop out there. You should be in pretty good shape with your bishops totally taking scope. See if I play knight takes, g4, pawn takes g4, bishop takes, king over. Not sure if it's sound, but we'll just go for it. Should have this guy here. Or this player. We're up 2 pawns, so if we can get this pawn rolling up the board. Let's see if I can. Oh, wow. I want to keep my bishop on this file to guard my pawns, because I want to get this pawn rolling. Just in case he ever thinks about playing here, we have this now. And he's going to be in that world of hurt. This is so I can get my king up and going. I should be winning this. This should be game over here, since I got my pawns are rolling and everything's protected. I believe it's done. The game's potentially it's resignable here. They'll play on, but it's still resignable. He'll probably let the time run, because sometimes they don't like resigning, guys. So don't feel bad if they don't resign. Okay. Good. Everything's going good. Oh, wait a second. Gotta be careful. Don't make a move until you have to. Let's see if I can't enter in there. I believe now the game's won. Oh, did I? Let's see, I probably should. Let's see, what do we got here? We could play here on e3, c3. Hey, how you doing? We take there, and oh wow, so he's going full throttle ahead. Wow, total crampage. You gotta love when they overextend like that. Then they can't defend everything. Trying to lock everything down. So that we could kind of trade off and get into a... His pawn structure is horrible. He's got like one long, big, humongous chain. If they think about getting a bind on you, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just retreat your knight out. Come right in there. Don't fret, you know what I mean? If they want to take, you grab their you can actually grab the pawn. You just jam a knight right into that pocket, and basically you say, what do you have now? We have a really nice outpost. It's going to be hard for him to break through our opponent. So then you take there. Let's see here. There we go. Just lock this down. So you just don't panic. That's one thing you can't do is panic. Panicking isn't part of chess. It may be a whole rook up, but so what? So that's the one thing you can't do. You know, don't let them panic you. Just shut that down. Let's see here. I gotta make sure I don't blunder this. Ah, there we go. Just keep an eye on there. Did I have the queen trapped? I think I had the queen trapped here. Oops. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I'll just exchange that off. Just hold on. Just hold on. So it takes. See, queen takes, pawn takes. see. Let's see, how can I hold? I think I can hold that way. Ah, yeah, I do need some endgame improvement. Let me see. I gotta see, because this is a problem right here. Let me see. I held all the way through. I believe back here the queen was trapped. Alright, so that's losing. So that was right. So this here is a draw. I want to see why. Oh, because of that. I gotcha. It's this here. Okay. There is no way of winning. Well, okay, see, let's see, hold on. We'll take a look at that, because king... Hold on, let's see. How far down was it a mistake? Let's see. Let's see, king, so... King, what number? So that we can learn from this. Where in the chart was it? Oh, right here. Move 51. D3. Okay, keep it on D3. Oh, and then play here. Oh, I see. That's sneaky. Very sneaky. This one move tempo. Ah. One move tempo. Ah, so close. So close. That now I have to remember that. That one move tempo. Oh, go forward? Okay, hold on. We'll go forward. Hold on. 1 second. Let's see here. Go, okay, after. So after. How far forward? Let's see. Move 61. Okay. So king b1 was wrong. It was king d3. And before, which is fine. G. Oh, I gotcha. I see what you're saying. Kinda, yeah. Makes sense. But I think it's still losing though, so he's got enough pawns to win. But that would have held. Oh, before you push the pawn? Oh, I gotcha. King C there, okay. Check. Up. Okay, now you enter in, okay. See, we're all learning something here. You take that. Yeah, okay. I gotcha. I see now. Wow, that was a huge learning experience. Yeah, we'll try one more, but man, that was interesting to say the least. Wow. Let's give him a go. Let's give him a try here. That's right, and that we did. B5 actually does work, like what you're saying. So it's like, wow, good endgame play. Okay, now we gotta remember. He plays there. We go F6. Remember. Then first, what do? We first takes, and then we play what after he takes? Oops, we take with the knight. Then we play queen to c7. This fianchetto. Then take like what John Watson says. You take scope on this bishop. I mean this pawn here, via knight to here. Bishop sack here. Not really. I think we're okay. I want to play queen to hammer home f5. It's called the French defense. That's what we've been working on. I'm trying to see if I can't take scope on this. I wanna take a big attack there. I want him to actually push here, overextend. Oh, good. He might play knight there. Well, if he does, then I have bishop here with a pin. Yeah, so I think this move's actually a mistake. Because then I have bishop h6 pin to the queen. So I think, yeah. Trying to see if I can't. Can I mobilize a knight anywhere to get an attack going? That would be an interesting move, wouldn't it? Oh yeah, that would be nice, because then you have a fork here. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Alright, I have this like bug that's constantly bothering me. Okay, we'll get on to our studies now. That was an interesting, good find there. I gotta be on the lookout for those moves. Yeah, but you remember, we have to always be positive about it, and remember, it's not about hurting their feelings, it's about helping the chess community. That's one thing we have to remember. Because you want them to continue to play, because then they'll get better and the chess will get better, and in theory you'll get better as well of a player. Okay, so F. So this is the we're going down the line of F6 on move 6. I'll show you. Pawn F6 on move 6, which is funny. I thought that was kind of this move here. Well, if you know the French, like Simon Williams talked and said, you should stick, even if you lose, you should stick with an opening and constantly work with that opening. Learn the patterns of the opening, the middle game, and it will help you into the end game. That's why I'm trying to stick with just the French and go over the French so we can get the patterns down. That's the whole thing, is pattern recognition. And so at this point, let's see, did I skip past some? Well, you could, black has played this before. I mean, white's played this before. This is actually the optimum setup for black. And let's see here. What move did we want to go over? Okay, there's actually, if you wanted to, this move here is a move too. Oh, beginner 1000. Well, if I was a beginner 1000, I would do more tactics. Yeah, I do more tactics, get more of a tactical understanding down, and basically just get a standard opening, just a standard opening that you know that you can get to the middle game. And you want to get familiar with like checkmating patterns, forks, skewers, pins, and then what'll happen is you'll start to be able to see them on the game. That's what I struggle sometimes with noticing those setups. So I have to also work on that too. All levels of players have tactical stuff they have to work on, but it's at a different, as we say from Bruce Lee, a different plateau of tactics. But I would start to learn how forks are looking. I would basically set up a repertoire of tactics, just a standard opening that gets you to the middle game, and for a while maybe play some games. Yeah, Bruce Lee. Yeah, and maybe play some games, and then if you lose, go over them, do your best, and see where your opening and your tactics kind of fell short. And then if you don't know what's going on, go into the engine, and sometimes if you want to see if your move has like a game that goes with it, down here is a little book. You click it and it'll show different lines that potentially could be played in that situation, and then it'll give you games that you can look at and see what the grandmasters played and players that played that type of setup, how they played it, and if it's how it worked out, and how let me see, how to properly play it. Basically, that's what Ginger said. You want to find an opening, look at that opening, find grandmasters that played it, and then look at that and model your patterns after that, not after the grandmaster, but after that position that you were in, so that you can know to a T where you're going. That's a lot of information, I understand, for 1,000, but if it was me, that's what I would do. That's what my teacher taught me. That's why I kind of click very well with a grandmaster. And you know what? You're not going to see a huge improvement all at one time. It's a slow process. It's kind of like when they sharpen a blade. It has to spark, spark, spark. But trust me, when that blade is sharpened and you're in battle, it's so worth waiting for that blade and going through that sharpening process. It's not fun. Trust me, it's not fun to lose. I don't like losing, but I do find out where my weaknesses are, and I do my best to fix them. Sometimes I make the same mistake, but I'm working at not doing that. That's my goal, not to make the same mistake twice. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Okay, if there, that's right. He's saying this is actually a mistake because you don't want to allow that to happen because of, I think queen to b6 was the idea they were talking about, which it leaves the vulnerability of b2 on pre. If he tries to hide like that, what you can actually do at this point is takes, and then now you have two attackers. So what you can do is bring about, you can take here, and if he takes, let's say takes, and then bishop takes, you always can drop your knight in. And if he takes there, now you have a really good pawn center. You have the two bishops, and you should, even if he castles, you should be winning. Like I'd probably play something like bishop to d6, king e7, potentially maybe one of these rooks here doubles up and takes scope on this, because these bishops are hammering home that way. That's kind of an idea that you can play. Also, if there's some that would play c4. c4 is in my opinion, is kind of a dubious move, but I've actually had it played on me before. This is how you handle it. You handle c takes d, of course. You want to take towards center. Then let me see, what's that? Is it e takes? Oh, it's e take. What did I do? Let's see. I gotta make sure my notes are right. Okay, c takes d4. That's right. C takes d5. E takes d5. E takes f. Knight takes, and then knight takes d, and now bishop to c5, and this is much better for, in my opinion, black. This is much better. This also comes to a game too. Should be a game there. Yep, there's the game. This is actually a game. Wonder if this is a relative of Sergey, because he has the same name. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if maybe this is interesting. Every time, that's right. Okay. So the next move for white would be, or black would be, of course, queen c7. We know why. Remember, the knight has it. The theory: the knight has it gone to a3, r to d3. So unless it goes to these things, you got to be careful not to take. Because if you did take here, he'd be more than happy to take back. And then let's say we play something like this. He could just drop his knight into a wonderful output, a wonderful spot. So we don't want to take. You want to wait till your opponent either does that or here before you take. because then he loses the ability of getting to the spot on c3. Yeah, queen c7 tries to actually expose the weakness of e5, guys. White's pieces are actually wrongfully placed. They're not in their optimum positioning. There's bishop to f4, which was played in the game, but there are some side lines. Yeah. There's this here. Takes. Now he takes e. Wait a second. What's going on here? Oh, I gotcha. My bad. Rook e1. This is a potential that could be played. Now you take there. Now he takes. D takes, and you at this point you got to be careful. Don't take this, because surprise, surprise, you lose your queen. That's okay. So then g4 because there's no pawn now to prevent the bishop. There is a bishop that could intercept though. Hold on, let me see. G4. Let's move 11. Oh, my bad, not G5. That's silly of me. G4, oh. Yeah, duh. Oh, I'm reading from Play the French. I'm trying to make sure my notes are correct, so I sometimes look between both. And see, I have it right here. You should actually, you could also set up your guys' own studies and then put them in here and then go over them like later on if you don't want to like pack a book around all the time. Yeah, the one that was really helpful with the London system is this gentleman here. This one, but it's a little. They're pricey. They're pretty pricey, so just be ready. They're a little bit expensive. So I just wanted to warn you guys if you wanted to purchase them. They're a little bit expensive. It's full of a lot of information, though. Yeah. Then let me see here. G takes. Knight D2, and if you notice what's happening is this opened up an attack on the. It's kind of funny. It's like you're thinking, why did you allow the doubling of these pawns? The base idea is now there's two open files, and who's going to be the ones to dominate them? Black. So the chance of and at any time, if the king wanted to, get out of a pin, he could just go to a prophylactic move, king b8. Or you could have potential, maybe bishop. You have to remember, you got to make sure your bishop moves are playable. So maybe bishop g7. That would take scope on this pawn, and then you can actually bring a rook if he tries to push. So, like if bishop here, if he tries to push, you could bring your rook over, and now you're attacking that pawn there. So king b2, which is one of our ideas. Could have played here too if he wanted to, but it's more of a prophylactic idea. Queen e2, rook g8. Now we're talking. This is a very unclear position because white can actually just retreat back if need be to h3, and then keep scope on the position, which would be this pawn. That's the only sitch with if you can't annihilate the center for white. I mean, if you can't get white's center destroyed, you're gonna have a problem with this here a lot. This pawn becomes the bane of your existence because you have to defend it all day long, and we do not want to waste our time defending it all the time. So castles rather than taking. Then he could play oops, my bad there. If he plays here, of course, there you go. I had the wrong one. Now we play here, and bishop e3. Oh, bishop. What did I miss here? I missed a move for black. Oh, g5. Ah, that makes sense. I knew I missed a move somewhere, because he wouldn't just. There had to be a move for black. There we go. Now this is dubious, which this has no point to the game. He should have played, if he wanted to have any playability, potentially bishop d4 or d3 would be a good idea. And then you're holding on to d4, which is enough support to hold it. Okay. Gotta make sure. Ah, perfect. g4 after here. g4. Knight fd2. So everything's in full retreat for black. I mean for white. Bam. Or boom. Not bam. Oh, what do you play after bishop d? Oh, d3? Or sorry, e3. Bishop e3. Well, if you're white, I mean black, you're gonna probably want to take. So if you played something like this, takes, and then takes, and maybe you can potentially get in h, or maybe just move the queen off the. Well, if you move the there could potentially be king to b8 prophylactic, then play h5 there. So I'm not exactly sure. All I know is this is actually, I've seen this played. Oh, true. Well, if he takes there, then you probably could take, and take. And you've somewhat, and he takes there. So maybe that is a mistake there. So maybe it's all the way back. Maybe that's best. I think it's losing either way. I don't think that I don't think there's a really good move. This does though a lot for some problems for white though, as we see in the the game takes. This actually goes to a game too if you guys are interested. Oh, wow, did it said it went to a game. There should be a game that goes to it. Okay, the continuation. Maybe if we continue a little bit further, the game will arise. Oh, my bad. I made a mistake. I'm sorry, guys. That was my fault. It was bishop e3. That's the bad move. Some reason I thought it was g3. I think g3 is the best move. That makes sense now. Okay. Now that makes sense. Okay. C takes D. Takes, and then F takes E5. Yep, you're right. Yeah, I don't know. That was odd. Somehow I missed that. Let's see. Then F takes, D takes. Okay. And Queen takes. There we go. Bishop takes, and Bishop D6 with a mating threat. Still no game? Whoops, sorry guys. There's still no game to that, huh? Weird, there should be a game. It showed there was a game. Well, go figure. So, he played bishop d4, knight g e7, queen, bishop g3, which is the right move in this. There is there's other lines, but I don't know. They're saying that potentially bishop to d3 and then f4, not c4, f5, and of course rook e1. I believe this game is a game between Niall Short, if I'm not mistaken, and then c. And at this point, here we go. We're continuing onward. C2, knight G6. I may be wrong here. It looked very similar to a Niall Short game. Bishop G3, and Bishop E7. Harry H pawn, and then castles, and we've entered a equal position, which I really like. I like the equal position. I think it's better, in my opinion, for black. I think it's better than an equal position, but that's my opinion. Knight A3, A6, which is an interesting idea, guys. And so Bishop G. It's because this is a prophylactic, another interesting move, because if you think about it, white's already predicting that black's gonna go G5, G4, not G4, G5, and so why not just step out of that whole way, and so what, you play G5. Now I have a move. Otherwise, if he would have left his bishop on F4, G5 gives black a tempo. So now we gotta basically reconfigure our plan. Which this, if remember, he left this diagonal, right? So what's weak? B2. So find a weakness, attack a weakness, as Grandmaster Simon Williams would say. Bishop D2. C takes D. C takes D, and of course, wham! Knight F5, and we have an equal position. I actually like this. I can't believe there's no game. You'd think there'd be a game to this. I like this position for black, in my opinion. I think it's very strong. And he's going to be trading off a knight for a bishop pretty soon, which then weakens the control of the dark square pawns in the center. Ooh yeah, we're loving that. Yeah, hurrah. Yes. You love when you can weaken your opponent. So we play queen b6. Even though this whole system is relatively unexplored, this, what he's talking about here, hasn't been explored very much. It's surprisingly that such a similar move, or simple move, has only been tried a couple times. Black tried to exploit the factor of the bishop on g3, because the bishop no longer can actually go to c1 to protect b2. So queen from c7 to c7 to b6 makes perfect sense. It's also doing two things. It's attacking here, attacking there. This is under attack. It's like this is a heaven-sent position. But white goes, hey, you know what? I can parry that attack too, parry that attack. I don't know if it's, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but you guys get the point. I can block it too, or make it go off to the side, so it doesn't have any power. If this took here, E takes, G takes, of course, and queen b3, which looks almost very similar to, in my opinion, a London system. Very similar to a London setup. But a London setup gone really bad. Really bad. This is not a very good London setup. And all black would do is just take. Pawn would take. And C takes D. And if knight takes, knight takes, pawn takes, and oh, very unappealing is that pawn structure. Then knight F, and it's like, uh-oh, spaghetti-o. He's going to have to bring a rook over to defend that. Only move, like what we said, rook d1, and then wham, we get his bishop. Now this pawn is really weak. There's only 3 pieces that could actually protect it. And if we eliminate these 3, for let's say this here, we have 2 pieces, which would be our king and bishop to take scope on this pawn. We're looking at the end game. This pawn right here is a weakness. If we trade everything off, but these colored bishops and these kings, in theory, black should have a slight advantage in the endgame. A slight advantage. Okay, so we already did the C takes. So let's go into knight A3 idea. Knight F5, that's actually a really good move because you're ganging up on the pawn here on D4. Sorry, couldn't for some reason like. And then there, of course, takes, and it's slightly better for black. It's very slight. But white did a really interesting. Black did an interesting take. which I thought was kind of cool, it was kind of different. Best would have been, of course, knight to f5, exclam, pawn takes, of course, like what we talked about. It takes. Very good position for black. Very solid center, compact center, and I think he has a slight advantage. So it takes, G takes. Let's see here. Oops, sorry, I went a little too far. There's one line here. If he took this way, that would be a mistake. And let's take a look why. Why would that be a mistake? We see why now. This bishop can't come back. And if the rook came over, we still can win. Rook d1. Knight takes. Bishop, h takes. And then f takes e. Of course, knight would take. Knight takes. Oops. Pawn takes. And remember, the dark square is weak. If we traded everything off, we got down to, I know I'm repeating myself again, we got down to these two pieces. This pawn right here is a weakness. Of course, I'm doing it on dark squares to emphasize why. Bishop c5. Now we're attacking that pawn. So h, g, f3, castles, and knight to c3, rook f5. Remember, pieces, we have a lot of pieces that could attack this pawn. Rook e1 and rook a to f8. Yeah, now this is getting really serious. Very serious for white. If we can get a pawn and get this bishop removed, this is going to be a weakness on f7. So that's why he took c takes d, not d takes. C takes, not d takes. Oops, wait, what am I doing? Sorry guys, takes there. G, there, e5, and then knight b5. There's another idea. If you take and bishop takes, it's at least equal for black here, so this is an equal position. But we played knight to a5. And there's also, if you wanted to, there's, I believe, let me see, knight, knight a5. There's knight that he played here, which is actually the best. There is knight here that could potentially be played. Then you have bishop e6. And now your position's good. What is this book? Play the London System with John Watson. National Master John Watson. Got to give him the proper respect. That was his title. It's his title. A6. It's not easy to get that title, so that's why you got to respect it. So knight to f5 is like killer. This move, in my opinion, is the close to the nail in the coffin for white. Some would be tempted to have actually taken at this moment. It's way too early to do that. That's a mistake. Because d takes c. Remember, the king's still in the center. So your king's not out of the woods. Let's see, a takes b. D takes e. Oh, gotcha. Queen takes queen. Pawn takes. And this is actually, surprisingly, this now is slightly better for white. Surprisingly, because of this takes here, you've crippled your pawn structure. You've made 4 pawn islands, and you're also down 2 pawn. Well, I guess you are down you're up a piece, but your king is so out in the air. It's very unsafe. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking. So I have to remember f5. Queen e4. So we take. Now we have the 2 bishops and we're up a whole piece. Takes. At this point, our opponent resigned here. Not resigned, but the game stopped here. I want to see if there's a game that it goes to. Nope. This is what it says. With an unclear... hold on, did I miss... I have 19. Oh, what? Black castle, queenside. Sorry. I missed one. With an unclear compensation for white, because white's down a whole piece, but the king, black's king is exposed. So you have to remember that for the piece, and maybe white's up a pawn or something, he has king exposure of black, which means a safer white king. But I like having an extra piece all day long. That's just me. You can do a lot of damage with this extra bishop. You know, it can come in pretty darn tootin' handy. But there's some players that would gambit a piece for maybe a pawn or two, just to keep the king, their opponent's king, very unsafe. So that's that. And then next time we meet, we're going to do the advanced variation for this on move 5 for black. B6. This is the old main line. Queen b6 is the old main line on move 5, and so we're going to look at the advanced variation. I'll put it on puzzles for you guys. I'll be right back. So write in the send the message what you think the best move for black is, and we'll go over it and we'll find out. Okay? I'll be right back. see. Let me check something. Perfect. We'll do like 1 or 2 puzzles. Then I gotta log. Let's see. I think it has to do with something with bishop to c5. Oops. To shield. It could also be this. Queen takes b. Yeah, I think you're on the right track with queen takes b2. I think you're on the right track with that. I think that's mainly the only move that. Then we can win. We could play queen takes b2. Queen takes, pawn takes. And now we're threatening this pawn. So the rook would have to come over, and then we could actually grab that pawn. Yeah. I'm actually liking that move. Oh. Huh, I should have seen that. That was like right in your face. What? What else you get? Oh, about this puzzle? Oh, back here? Well, you're wondering why not queen takes? Because then you take there, and you're attacking the pawn. You're wondering why not, why no rook takes bishop plus king takes? Well, you're wondering why bishop takes, right? You just take. And if he takes here, you take there. I'm not getting which move? Queen check? Yeah, it's kind of hard to do that. I'm not sure. I'll keep it right here so that you have a template to look at. The line you played. Why queen? Why did queen takes rook? Queen takes rook. Queen takes f1. Oh, why not here? Oh, because you actually win a pawn. You actually win the queen in that line. I hope this. I'm not sure. That's the best I guess I can figure, is that if you did take, the queen would take back. Okay. Well, we'll do one more, guys. Yeah, you did good. You know what? It's all about, precise calculation. If it was a correct line, that's what matters. That's what we're trying to get across, is proper, correct stuff, all that. Let's see. Ay, ay, ay. I'll give you the number real quick, okay? So that you can, yeah, that's exactly a good one. There you go. That should be the number there. Okay. Okay, I'm thinking that d7 is the move. I really don't see anything else. That's really the only move that, yeah, otherwise white doesn't have anything. Excuse me. Yeah, it's a crazy line. If we queen here, he'll try to take there. We can actually come up. I think we would take the pawn at that point. Did we just queen? Yeah. Can we actually play king takes g2 though? Ah, that's okay. Well, oops, that was just me. Well, wow. I wonder why. Let me see if we take here. Oh, I think it's perpetual. We can't go here because of mate. You needed a shield. Now you run. You just run. Just run. Just run. Just run. Oops, we're not there. Just run. So you could actually and then now if he checks, you can actually intercept with yeah. Yeah. With proper play and probably enough time, you could probably find the move. Do you guys have any questions on this? Do you guys have any questions on any of this? Nope. Well, do you know what? Sometimes it's a diamond, sometimes a stone. But can I tell you, we learned a lot from that. So we have to remember, don't always take. Sometimes you need to use that pawn as a shield, and otherwise it'll set up for a basically perpetual check like what just happened. Be on the lookout for that though. Okay, knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. Basically, we have to know, we have to apply, we have to be willing, and we have to do. You know what? You have to also remember that there's plateaus that you'll reach in your life, and you have to go beyond them because there are no limits. When you reach that plateau and you keep going, the sky's the limits. Excuse me. And so that's best that I can I guess advice I could say is that love the plateau. You're gonna have stony days, but guess what? You push right on through. You learn from them, and second of all, you don't repeat the same problem. You do it differently and correctly. And remember, we're the ones that hang up our coat, hang up our hats. We sit down and do the puzzles. Learn now. Get the red marks now, so that when we're at that board, we won't have a red mark. We won't have a 1 on our opponent's side. We'll have the 1, so that we know. Okay. I'll leave you guys with those thoughts. As Wesley So says, for the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless. I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, evening, guys, and Lord willing, I'll be back on. And what we'll do is we'll do some more Play the French. We'll do some more games. If you guys have games, bring them. We'll go over them. Doesn't matter what opening it is. If you have questions, we'll find them, okay? And we'll do them. Great job. Remember, red doesn't mean that you failed. Red means learning, okay? Sometimes it's the hardest thing to do is to learn from your mistakes, but that's like what Josh Waitzkin says. That's what he learned the most from. Okay, guys, be blessed. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Great job. Go Team Chess Cruncher. Bye-bye.